Yeah, I'm living my best life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Lot of Alexis. I am, of course, so excited to be here with you, and I'm so happy that we've made it to episode 3. This is pretty awesome. Today we're going to talk a little bit about cliches. You either love them, you hate them. They're overused, but they're usually proved true. The first one that I'd like to talk about is "it is what it is." We've all heard it. We've all said it. And like I said, it's the good and the bad. You hear it when you don't want to, and sometimes you don't hear it when you need to hear it. And honestly, I don't think it's for "it is what it is." Is it true or is it not? Well, of course it's true. It is what it is. And sometimes it gets me through my day when my toddler isn't going down for her nap, or I spill that coffee on myself when I'm going out to my car for the day and I just don't have time to change. You just say to yourself, it is what it is. It's meant for things where you literally cannot change it. So I would say the Alexis code for this one is it's approved. It's a classic. Say it to yourself because I feel like it takes that pressure off of just events that you can't change that are just happening. It'll help you go through life. I actually did a poll on my Instagram. If you don't follow my Instagram yet, make sure you do. It's at A Lot of Alexis podcast. I do a lot of fun stuff on there as far as polls go. And I don't know about you, if I see a poll on anybody's Instagram, I'm answering it. It's fun, it's engaging. And like I said, I don't care who it is, I'm answering it. So I've gotten really good feedback from my polls so far. And I asked you, do you say it is what it is? And 91% of you guys voting said that you say it daily, which I totally believe because like I said, there's so many instances where it comes into play. So moving on to another one, since we're all in agreement that that one's great. Everything happens for a reason. This is another one where I feel like if I'm going through something and then someone says, well, everything happens for a reason, sometimes you want to punch them in the face because you're like, I just didn't need to hear that right now. I'm aware it's such a cliche. You hear it all the time. Everything happens for a reason. I mean, for God's sakes, I almost got this tattooed on my body. My mom used to say it to me so much growing up. I didn't. I got something else, but I grew up on this saying, everything happens for a reason. So I'm with you. It can be annoying to hear sometimes, but it is true. And I feel like it's another one of those cliches where you can say it when things feel really bad. And it's not necessarily a karma, what comes out of it will be good, but everything that you go through leads you to something else. So yeah, literally everything happens for a reason. But I get that it can be hard sometimes, diving deep. My parents got divorced. That's not fun for anybody. It's been 10 years since the divorce, started. And at the end of the day, it felt so, dirty and messy and crappy going through it. And this is why I'm so familiar with this cliche, everything happens for a reason, because that's what I was telling myself day in and day out, and what my mom would say and what my sister would say. And yeah, everything happened for a reason, but to be fair, a lot of crummy things happened during that time that I still wish hadn't happened. Do I think that everything happens for a specific reason that ends up being all sunshine and rainbows? No. Do I feel, however, that you go through something and it can make you stronger? Yeah. So maybe the reason why bad things happen isn't to make your whole life better. Oh, this really crappy divorce happened and there's still lingering effects from it. that make my life in a way worse than it was before. Like, not everything is better. But at the end of the day, I'm so much stronger as a person because of what I watched my entire family go through when it came to something that really affected all of us. Like, you can't explain some stuff. You can't explain when you're on the treadmill and you roll your ankle. Why did that didn't happen for a reason. And it can feel so big. But just remember, maybe we'll find another cliche for reasons like that. It is what it is, right? So my next one is, perfect. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Cue Kelly Clarkson, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Except for things like leg day. Leg day can kill you, but it does make you stronger. But honestly, something like this, it can be true for motherhood, in life at work, in marriage. I think my husband, Matt, and I have been through so much together. We've graduated high school and we've been apart for college. I mean, I was away for one semester, but still, we're finding our careers together. It's different than what we thought that they would be. We're growing into adulthood together. We found ourselves like as individuals while in a relationship. We moved in together. We planned a wedding. We got married. We had a child together. And we're so much stronger at the end of the day because even though all of these things sound like amazing things, not every day was like so perfect. And wouldn't we love to have just, found out, we're going to be in a relationship and snapped our fingers and just poof, been to where we are now, married with, a beautiful child in a home. And that's not how it works. You have to go through everything. And again, like a lot of it's really good, but the parts that aren't so fun, I guess, it doesn't mean they're bad. It doesn't kill you, and it makes you stronger when you come out the other end of it. The next one that I have, they grow up too fast. It's a good one. So they grow up too fast. You know what? I didn't necessarily resonate with this until my daughter was turning 2. Maybe it's because I had a lot of my days, most of my days, home with her. My husband and I were able to figure out a way that, I was with Callie 99% of the time. So yeah, they grow up too fast, but when you think of the day-to-day, those days did not feel short. And I guess that's part of the whole cliche, right? The days feel long and the years feel short. But I really, truly didn't realize that till now. I would be sitting on the couch looking at old pictures and I wouldn't get emotional. I wouldn't wish that she was that small again. I felt like I really, so far, have enjoyed every stage of being a mom. And nothing made me wish that I could go backwards. And I didn't feel like she was growing up too fast. And maybe that sounds bad because I'm also not wishing time away or waiting for her to grow older. But I feel like because I had the privilege to be home with her and I saw every single almost second of her growing up, I didn't feel like she grew up too fast. And to be fair, even with my husband working, we share that. We share that view. We don't feel like we wish time would go backwards or really that time flew because, it just didn't for us. And it doesn't mean that our life isn't crazy. But like I said, because I was able to be home with her and you're literally experiencing every second, it really doesn't, it doesn't feel fast. It feels like time is moving just as it should. Do you feel though when she's a teenager, I'm going to say, what the heck happened to my baby? Just saying that, I understand that it will hit me later, but I'm already starting to experience it a little bit because she's just such a different human now at 2 than she was, even last month. I mean, it's so crazy. So they really do grow up fast, but not too fast for me. Has anyone heard "this too shall pass"? That's another cliche that I actually use a lot, probably more than it is what it is. So, you hit traffic, or you and your spouse are going back and forth about what to watch at the end of the night. Or maybe it's those hard reps at the gym that you're just really pushing through, a day that feels extra long. Any of these examples and more, you can think to yourself, this too shall pass. Because it will. It literally, nothing lasts forever. Everything is temporary. I feel like I'm backing up cliches with other cliches, but it's true. Like, they're literally said for a reason. So, this too shall pass. It's just another thing I feel like is Alexis approved. You can say it to yourself when you're going through anything that's hard. Time passes, so it's going to be over with eventually. When you get to toddler tantrums, and I think of those Sour Patch Kids commercials, like first they're sour, then they're sweet, because it's so true. Like, they're sour and you're like, this will pass, it'll be over. And then all of a sudden she's so sweet and you're like, oh my God, that never happened. And it's a cycle, so it happens again. But yeah, I definitely say this one to myself. I have something that revolves around marriage, or I guess relationships in general. I've heard happy wife, happy life, which of course we all know is true. I don't necessarily means like bowing down or giving your wife or girlfriend everything she wants. But let's be real. If you go home and your wife or girlfriend has that look of, they're not the happiest, you're in for it. You don't know if it's something you did or something that someone else did or something from work or something from the kids. But to go in like on edge. The difference of walking into that household at the end of the day versus, hey babe, welcome home. I have dinner ready for you. Yeah, it's a totally different vibe. So I feel like, at least my husband is always trying to keep the happy wife, happy life motto, because it makes for a smoother household. I'm not saying I'm like scary or anything. I'm just saying everybody loves a happy Alexis. Oh, also something else I want to say about that was a tip. If you feel like you come home more and you don't have like the happy wife or girlfriend, figure out her love language. Okay, I know there's a lot of talk about love languages, and just in case you don't know, there's 5, and it's acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation, and gift giving and quality time. They're all very different. There's a really simple quiz you can take online, and you can take it to see how you receive love and also how you give love. So 2 things you can do with that. Find out your wife's love language and do that, and vice versa. But you can see how if the way you're giving, quote, giving love is different than how she receives it, and vice versa. You should both be knowing both of your love languages. It might seem cheesy and like repetitive. I remember when I was going through and taking the test or quiz myself, it felt like it was asking me the same question like 10 different times. But just like go through it, because it could also be different than you think. Like your love language could be different than what you think it is. So I know that I love gift giving, like love it. I don't go to any store without thinking, oh, this would be cute for this person. Oh, this would be cute for this person. And I used to be in the habit of just like buying it for them and giving it to them. But it's true. It was like, it's still my love language. I still love it. But I feel like after becoming a wife and being a mom, I lean more towards the acts of service. Like, it makes me happy for, my husband to come home to a clean home and dinner's ready, I'm in a good mood, Callie's in a good mood or she's down for the night. It just sets the household up for to be in good spirits. So even the way that I like to, quote, give love as a love language has changed since I've grown. And also, I don't even remember what, I should probably take the test again. Because I always used to think I love physical touch because I love the hand on me or the arm wrapped around or just a kiss here and there. And that's how I valued feeling the most special. And although I do feel that to be true, maybe it's more words of affirmation. Because I also love to hear oh, you look beautiful and, notice, hey, is that a new outfit? So I don't know. The point to all of that is happy husband, happy wife. Let's do it. Let's figure out each other's love languages. If you do take the test or quiz and it's different or the same as what you thought, definitely DM me on Instagram because I think that this stuff is so fun. And I want to see whether you're in a relationship or not. If you do take this quiz or you already know yours, I'll put it up as a question on my Instagram story too. So if you catch that answer, if not, just DM me because I think this stuff is so fun. Another one for marriage or I guess relationships in general is love is patient, love is kind. Fun fact about Alexis, I am very kind. I am very not patient. So it's something I've been working on, especially since being a mom and a wife, I guess, but my husband's pretty amazing. I have to say, I really do try to have more patience, but it's something in my DNA that I don't have. So anyway, the love between my husband and I is very patient, very kind. The love between my daughter and I is very kind, a little bit of less patience. And I would say my relationship with friends and family, I just try to have as much patience as I can. So everyone that I have in my life is pretty awesome in my circle. So I don't get my patience tested too much, but I will say, love is patient, love is kind. Absolutely true. It's just something that, your girl's working on it a little bit. I did a poll on my Instagram and I gave a couple options. And so I gave the option of you can never truly forget, but you can forgive. It depends on the situation, or you can forgive and forget. Of course you can. None of you said that. None of you said you can forgive and forget, never happened, move on. 63% of you said you can never truly forget, but you can forgive. And that's where I live. And then 37, the other percent of you said it depends on the situation, which I do understand. But forgiving, I can get there. If it's a good apology, if it was a rough thing that happened, we might just need time. But usually I can get there. The forgetting, that's really, really hard for me. If it's a situation where someone showed their true colors and basically showed who they were to their core, and that's the reason, whatever happened, I don't think I could ever forget that. Again, you can forgive, but you're always going to be wondering, are they going to show that side again? How are they going to take what I'm saying? You're always going to be, even if it's subconsciously, on edge with that person. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's another thing that's just engraved in my DNA. I've also been through a lot in my life with not, it's almost more liberating to not forgive and forget and almost separate myself from that person. Because I do feel what you end up doing if you forgive and forgive and forget and forget, or try to move forward, you lose yourself a little bit each time. So a lot of stuff in the past with family and friends, I was the person, you could kind of walk all over me and take advantage, whether you knew you were doing it or not, or whether or not that was your intention. I was always people pleaser, doormat, sometimes noticing that I was, sometimes not. So at the end of the day, it's like I was that person. And so going through that, I had to like forgive and try to forget so many times that I was losing myself. And I would sit there at the end of the day thinking, hey, I'm still holding on to all of this stuff. Another thing about me is that I'm like an avid, like overthinker. I overthink everything. So knowing that about me, trying to forgive and forget about multiple situations, some of them heavy, some of them small, and just sitting with my thoughts at the end of the night. I'm not a person who can just like go to sleep when I go to bed. Some people, their head hits the pillow, they're out. My head hits the pillow, and that's when like the thought process starts. That's when I'm thinking, about everything. I feel like I'm that person that you see like in the memes where they're laying there and their eyes are wide open and they're like, this is me till 3 a.m. It's just, I just think, and I think, oh, this could happen. It's a whole spider web of thoughts. So that being said, I don't think that I'm the best candidate to have a big part of my brain reserved for this lingering, forgiving, and trying to forget. So personally, I'm on board with like, you can never truly forget. You can forgive, but it can be really, really tough. So that's probably the toughest cliche for me. I'm like, I guess it's not Alexis approved, because I just don't think I'm capable of forgiving and completely forgetting ever. The next one, which actually this flows pretty seamlessly, patting myself on the back. A leopard doesn't change its spots. So I did a poll for this one. I'm so glad I did these because I hope that you're having as much fun with this as I am. So can a leopard doesn't change its spots? I was actually shocked by this poll. 73% of you said yes, people can always change who they are. And only 27% said no, you are who you are. So I love the sweeties, the sweet angels that I have listening that really believe people can change who they are to a core. And I'm not here to say that you're wrong. I asked for a reason. I wanted to, know where your thoughts were, but I just can't relate. And it goes back to the forgiving and forgetting, where maybe it's a flaw in myself. I just personally have not seen anybody who has done really wrong or wronged me or showed their true colors and then has shown me that they're not that way. I can like firmly say and believe that I've never seen that. So that being said, there's no way I can stand behind a leopard can change its spots. So if we're talking something small, you're a smoker and you quit, you never worked out, and now you're a gym rat, you change like a political stance or party, you never wanted kids and now you do. Okay, all of those things, you can change your mind. And, something with an addiction, you can overcome an addiction. Change opinions. I just feel like when it comes down to, like, say you have like a narcissistic personality, I don't feel in my heart of hearts that you can ever completely remove like that spot, that quote leopard spot from yourself. You're a boss who micromanages. Do I feel like you can ever fully change and not? I don't. Like, if you're a combative person at heart, do I feel like you're never going to have that urge again to be that way? No, I feel like this is just like down in the core of who you are as a person. And it doesn't mean you should change either. I think you should just find a way to use it to your benefit. Doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means I've never seen it done. And I really don't think that it can be, but I am an unpopular opinion here. And I would love to think that the most of you are correct, because I would like to believe the best in people, that no matter how your history, you can be different. Another one is, life is too short to be anything but happy. Well, how true is that? Always remember to enjoy the little moments. Life is short, and it goes back to the other cliche of, like time flies or they grow up too fast. And at the end of the day, you're only on this earth once, and it is too short of a time to be anything but happy. And it's a lot of the reason why I chose to start this podcast and give it my all and go for it, because this is what is making me happy in this moment. I'm so blessed to be able to, turn this mic off and go home to a husband and child and family and friends that also make me happy outside of here. But what if this is all I had? This is all that made me happy. I would do it. And I feel like if there's anything in this short life that you feel you even think that you want to try or would regret not trying, just say that to yourself. Life is too short to be anything but happy. And I really do feel if you try something and it doesn't work out, you're still going to be happy that you tried it. So go for it. So the reason why I wanted to talk about cliches today was because I live by a lot of these. I say a lot of these cliches really on the daily. I hear people say them on the daily. A lot of people, roll their eyes, or they love them, they hate them, can't get enough of them, or they're like, please never say a cliche around me ever again. But I think it's so cool because I do these polls on my Instagram. I'll do more, so stay tuned and keep answering. But I can see, the people that answer, and some of the answers really surprise me. And you'll see when we dive deep more into my life and my past and my history why I feel so strongly about some of these cliches. The leopard doesn't change its spots. You're going to hear about my life and you're going to say, oh, I get it now. I get why she doesn't trust that people can truly change who they are down to the core. And I'm so excited to share all of that with you. This was just such a fun episode. I don't know. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And I just thank everybody for all the support that you've given me, all the polls that you've answered. Please stay engaged. Please please share, please follow, spread the word. The way that I can keep doing this podcast and get exposure is from you just telling everybody about it. I hope you love it enough to share. So keep me in mind when you're scrolling. Share if you want, DM me if you want, answer the polls or the questions on my story. I like to post, so there'll be a lot out there. But on that note, I just appreciate you as always, and I just want to say thank you for joining me today, where there's a lot to say, a lot to do, and a whole lot of Alexis.